Welcome to the Midwest. My name is Jesse, and today I am answering a question from Danielle. And Danielle has a question about cold training. So this is about cold training and progression. Let's talk about that today. Welcome to the Midwest. My name is Jesse, and today I'm answering an email from Danielle who is asking about cold training and progression. And just to I'm looking at her email here, and basically she was nice enough to do the conversion from Celsius to Fahrenheit for me, so thank you, Danielle. She was talking about how basically she started off doing cold showers, and then she felt like she just wasn't being challenged enough, and then she bought an oak barrel and started doing ice baths, and some ice baths. Now she was around 13 Celsius, which is about 55 Fahrenheit, for quite some time. Okay, so we're not talking crazy cold, but that's pretty cold. That's something for the athletes out there. An athletic ice bath is usually going to be around usually about 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. So she was doing an athletic style ice bath, actually a very cold athletic style ice bath at that. She started off, she said, with like 2 to 3 minutes, but then eventually progressed up to 10 minutes. And she's gone even colder to, she says, 7.5 Celsius, which is 45.5 Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. And her big question is about something that I said. So, okay, she's like, hey, you said this thing, would you clarify? So let's talk about this. She said, in one of my videos, I was talking about anything over 120 seconds. Basically, I said, you only need about 120 seconds in an ice bath to receive the benefits. And she's loving these 10-minute ice baths she's doing. And she says, am I overdoing it? What's the deal? Should I cut it back? Am I hurting myself? Is this something that should I not keep progressing like this? How does this work? So let's talk about this. Now, first of all, if you want to know more about how to progress in the ice and why it is actually a good idea to progress in intensity and duration of your cold exposure, if you want to know the step-by-step method, how I do it and how I've trained other people just in this cold exposure, even just cold exposure by itself. I'm not even talking about Wim Hof method. I'm talking about just cold exposure by itself, as people have practiced it for many years, and ancient times even. I do have an ebook, and I'll put the ebook in the description below, and it will take you from your very first cold shower all the way to, ice bathing, walking barefoot in the snow, and all these cool things that I get to do this winter as the winter approaches. So I'm really happy about that. But Danielle, this is for you, and then also for everybody else that has this question: do I need to progress? Do I need to go colder? Do I need to go longer? How does this work? Well, I do dive into this pretty deep in my ebook, but just to give you a little taste of the science behind this, this is basically what my research has shown, is that essentially you don't build a tolerance. Okay, so that's the big question. I think on most people's mind: am I building a tolerance which will make it necessary for me to continue to get colder and stay in longer? And so in order to get the same results, do I have to push myself harder and harder into the cold? And the answer to that is no. You don't build a tolerance to the cold when it comes to the benefits of the cold. So for instance, the classic thing is norepinephrine. Norepinephrine is a hormone, it's a chemical in your brain. It does an enormous amount of things, but norepinephrine is something that is probably the most pronounced change that happens in your body. You get enormous amounts of norepinephrine. And here's the thing, from all my research, I've been able to determine, and it's been shown in research, that you don't develop a tolerance when it comes to, you get the same shot every single time. And that's if, let's suppose you take a 1-minute cold shower, you're going to get exactly the same amount of norepinephrine on your first time as you would get on your 50th or 1000th time to take that 1 minute cold shower in the same temperature. You don't build a tolerance to that. However, your body does become more adapted and it's more capable of handling cold. So if you get the same amount of norepinephrine for 1 minute of a cold shower of maybe 60 degrees Fahrenheit, just imagine what you would get if you had 2 minutes at that same temperature. You'd get double that. And then if you go colder, you get a bigger spike of norepinephrine. And then if you go colder and longer, you get a bigger spike and you get it more. And so basically what you get by progressing in the cold are added benefits. You get more benefits. And the beauty is your body is starting to, if you do it right, okay, there's a lot of ways to do it wrong. And that's why I recommend my ebook, because I don't want people to go out there and kill themselves. Whenever you're dealing with the cold, when you're dealing with things that are super, super cold, yeah, you can really go wrong in a lot of ways. I mean, hypothermia is real, my friends, and so is frostbite. So you know, when it comes to cold exposure, it's all hormesis, right? Hormesis is the process where if you give a person enough, not too much, not too little, enough of a stressor, you become stronger and more adapted. And that's what happens if you use the cold in the proper way. Danielle, I feel like, judging by the thing I've seen in your email, you're a natural. You've done a great job of easing into the cold and you didn't rush things. Most people rush things, or most people are too afraid to progress, but you've really just followed your heart and you seem like you're doing quite well. Is there a limit to how far you can go in the cold? Absolutely. I mean, you eventually, if you stay in the cold long enough, you'll die, and I don't care who you are. But basically, when it comes to training in the cold and progressing in the cold, there are lots of benefits to getting colder and staying in longer. But how that works, how you get from your first cold shower to, sitting outside in sub-zero temperatures, that's a slow process that I would recommend you get a guide for. If you can get my ebook, that is a really good guide. Or if you can go to like a workshop or just research the topic in general. You don't want to just go into it like a lot of Americans go into things. It's like, if a little's good, a lot's better, and let's get my money's worth today, and I'm going to go out there and, hey, I'm going to spend 10 minutes in an ice bath today. That's going to be great for some people. Danielle is at the stage where if she continues on the way she's going, she'll be able to spend 10 minutes in almost in probably, maybe 1 or 2 Celsius water. But she's got a long way to go before she gets there. And so the way we progress, it's got to be methodical, and it's also, you've got to listen to the inner voice. That's something else I talk about in my book. But overall, when it comes to progression, there are benefits to staying in the cold longer, and there are benefits to going colder. And basically, you're just cranking up the volume on all the benefits that you get whenever you are maybe at a not so cold or not so long cold shower. And so that's the benefit. That's why we do it. That's why we do it. Guys, hope you're safe. Get ready for the winter if you're in the northern hemisphere with me. If you guys are in the southern hemisphere, enjoy your summer, and you can look forward to the winter coming up. But I am looking forward to this cold weather. Today it got down to 32 Fahrenheit, which is 0 Celsius, my favorite temperature, because the conversion is the easiest. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope this helps, and don't forget to go out there and be nice to people.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Pretty sweet snow angel.